Okay. Okay, so now let me share with you guys very quickly how hypnotic language came about and how it works. So as you guys know, when we first spoke about this, hold on one second. Yeah. When we first spoke about NLP when it was created, I told you about how Dr. Richard Bandler and John Grinder, when they first started learning NLP, when they first started creating NLP, they went to Fritz Perls, Virginia Satir. These were amazing therapists. And they started noticing that these guys were doing these, like there were patterns, there were similarities. And so John Grinder, who was he's a linguist, he was a professor of linguistics at the university. He helped Richard Bandler like to codify what was going on. He was like, okay, this is what the person's doing, this is what they say, like let's, and then put it into categories. And the first book that they and they created their first book, and the first book was based on the meta model that we went through. Okay, everyone remember the meta model that we were talking about? Yeah. And so that came about from their first training. Now they knew somebody, sorry, the name of the book was called The Structure of Magic, and that's what created NLP. It made NLP famous, made these two guys very famous, and all of that was about literally going to people and helping them by uncovering, getting more information, and that would help uncover their problem. But then there was a guy by the name of Gregory Bateson, who was a friend of theirs. And he went to Richard and John and he said, everything that you've said it makes complete sense, and it's actually really amazing. Like, it's an amazing model. But there's a guy that exists who does the exact opposite of what you're doing, and he is getting amazing results. This person, in fact, he doesn't just violate everything that you're saying, he actually does the complete opposite of what you're saying, and he gets amazing results. And so the guy's name was Richard and John said, okay, who is this guy? And they said, Milton Erickson. So they said, okay, we have to go and see this person. So they tried to get appointments. They tried to go and see him. He wasn't initially, they had a bit of trouble. They drove all the way down to go and visit Milton Erickson. And they took some convincing. They studied what he was doing to a certain degree, and they used a little bit of what they kind of gleaned from him in order to get an appointment with him. They saw that he was using a few language patterns to be persuasive, and so they utilized. And then finally he agreed to let them kind of come and study him. And so what we're going to talk about right now is the Milton model. The Milton model, what is crazy is it is the exact flip side of the coin of the meta model. And in fact, as you'll see very, very quickly, it will be the exact opposite. So let's talk about this. Because you see, when we generalize, distort, and delete information, we need to do it in order to survive. It does create problems, but at the same time, we need to do it in order to survive. So our mind naturally thinks that way. So you can utilize the way that the mind naturally thinks in order to communicate in positive ways. So let's say, for example, someone has a problem. You get away from that problem by using, you uncover that problem and all the aspects of it. You uncover their map of the world using the meta model. But with the Milton model, you can find something positive you want to install in a person, or you want a person to listen to, and you get them to pay attention. Like you get to you install it using this model, the Milton model. How many of you remember when we talked about distortions? What are some of the distortions that you can use? Anyone want to share from the meta model?
Distortion, as I remember, was that you say something, but the other person, but we put a meaning, different meaning on it.
Yeah.
That, for example, if we say, okay, he looked at me, means that I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yes,
If
yes,
I'm,
yes. So
yeah,
so there's so there's multiple ways that you can do a distortion, right? What I want you to do is I want you to think of the categories of distortions. You can check out your books, but do you want to, does anyone want to give me the categories of distortion?
Mind reading,
Mind
loss
reading,
performative, cause
loss
and effect.
performative, cause and effect.
What's the other one?
Complex.
I know the positions. I don't remember the last C.
Excellent, excellent. No, you're exactly there. Okay, good. So let's do mind read. So when they noticed that Milton Erickson, when he'd speak to someone, he would say stuff like, and I know that you're wondering how deeply you can relax. What's he doing when he says that?
Give me a suggestion.
He's giving a suggestion, but he's doing a mind read. Do you see?
Do it again, please.
I know you're wondering how deeply you can begin to relax. Now, notice, I want you to notice, he's doing a mind read. This is the opposite of getting someone out of a mind read. You're in doing a mind read to the person, right? You're not taking somebody outside of a mind read, you're doing a mind read to the person. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's mind read. Then there's lost performative. So it is best to relax while you're learning. Lost performative means, like, according to who? Like, who says it's best to relax while you're learning? Like, a person might be thinking some of those things, right? So what he would do is start to use some of these different patterns that are designed based on how a person naturally thinks.
So it's more like he's making us believe something, or establishing believing in the person.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Right. So these are the different ways he would do it. And then he would do a cause and effect, right? The fact that you're listening to me while you're sitting can cause you to relax deeply. Right? How does the fact that you go like and what is the flip side of it? How does the fact that you're I'm sitting make me relax? How does this cause this? But at the end of the day, a person accepts it because that's the natural way that the mind thinks. Or a complex equivalence. By the way, what have we been doing today? You guys have been doing complex equivalence, cause and effect, right? You've been doing that already. Salma's at home, which means that the information that she's been learning can go deep into her unconscious, deep into your unconscious when you're talking to the person. Okay? So, what I want you to do is on page 104 and 105, there are the different categories of the meta model. And all you're going to do is now you're going to create statements around, and here's the question that Asma asked, around learning. Okay? So here's what I mean. Let's say I know that you're going to be learning this information deeply, and that you'll be able to apply it into your lives. That's a mind read. Lost performative. And that this knowledge is the best knowledge that you can learn today. And learning causes you to grow, which means that you are becoming a better person, a more knowledgeable person. Okay, does this make sense? All right. Let me just